I'm Katie Delgado, as Steph said, year 12, which is crazy to be looking back on. And as I think about the impact of Mill City and the way that God has used this community in my life, I really can't imagine what my life would look like if I hadn't been part of Mill City and shaped and formed by this place, by the people, by the questions that we ask together and the way of life that we do together. It's crazy because I'm originally from Southern California, and so it was definitely a God thing that I ended up in Minnesota, as Steph said this morning. This place, I worked for YouthWorks, which some of you know YouthWorks, locally based. Yes, I actually met Kate at YouthWorks, which was crazy back in the day. And I worked for YouthWorks for a couple of summers while I was still living in Southern California. And so Elam Church was the very first place I ever came in Minnesota, which is crazy to think back on. And so I did YouthWorks for a couple of summers, and then the Lord did some crazy things, and I ended up moving out to Minnesota and working at Bethel University for a period of time. And then from Bethel University, got connected to Mill City. Jen Hillier actually invited me to Mill City the very first Sunday that I was here in Minnesota. And what she didn't know was that I had been praying, even when I was out in California, Lord, would the one easy thing be about moving to Minnesota be finding a church? And I prayed and prayed and prayed that over and over again. And sure enough, first Sunday, I'm at Mill City, which is crazy to think back on. So when we got to the process of the adoption merger, it just felt like this really full circle moment for me because Elam Church had, again, just played such a significant role in my first memories in Minnesota, and I could tell the spirit of this place was so wanting to follow Jesus just by stepping through the door, and so it felt like such an honor to get to see Mill City and Elam come together, and just, again, feels like such a cool part of my own story as well. I also know really random corners of this building thanks to playing sardines in here during YouthWorks training, so ask me about that sometime. Yes. So what I found when I started attending Mill City was that there was this, what I started to call like a high participatory culture here, where this was a church space where I was being invited to join in and to actually become part of the community and part of what God was doing. And I found myself really drawn to that part of this place. I also found very quickly that participatory turned into empowerment, aka being thrown in the deep end of a lot of really amazing opportunities to serve, to get to know my neighbors, to teach, to disciple. And I really think that Mill City believed in me and what I had to bring and how the Spirit was working in me before I even did. And I will be forever grateful for that. I will say, for all of the ways that Mill City has impacted me and become part of, honestly, my DNA at this point and the way that I do life, the biggest impact this place has had has been the moments where I really desperately needed people to show up like family for me. Because I don't have family here, and some of you in the room understand what that's like. I'm a single person, and I don't have family here, and I have been through it in the last 12 years in different moments, as many of you have experienced. And so to know that when an emergency surgery happened, that I could actually text my missional community and say, I need help. And to actually know that people were going to show up for me to the literal point of walking me to the surgical door, waiting for me after the surgery in my hospital room, bringing me food afterwards, checking in on me, praying for me. I mean, in some really, really hard moments, this place has showed up for me and really been the light of Jesus and the faithfulness of the Lord in my life. I mean, we're talking grieving losses. We're talking moving me around the cities. Thank you so much to everyone who's carried a box for me. I really appreciate that. To people who, when I decided that I was going to need to make a career change and that the Spirit was moving in a new direction, quite literally housed me when I didn't have a place to live and was making no money. So truly, I have been empowered and equipped, and the generosity of this place has made it possible for me to do what I'm doing today, to impact the lives that I am, and to be generous with others. I just can't even believe this story. I'm going to end on this note, and it's that when I was out in California, I had a wonderful church that I was a part of out there who loved me dearly, and I loved them. And as I was preparing to actually come to Minnesota, they were praying for me constantly. And one of the things that they spoke into me was that the Lord had a community waiting for me. And it terrified me to move. And yet I knew the Lord was doing it. And this place is a part of why I'm still here. So thank you. Thank you for being my community. Thank you for stepping into moments that I've really needed family. Thank you for embodying Jesus and for forming me. Because I would not be here today, I think, as I stand here trying to figure out the way of Jesus each day without you as a community. So thank you.